Fiction and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Triad Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And we are moving on to the fiction segment of the show. So...
What are we watching?
We are watching Dracula, or we've already watched Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one you had me watch.
Yeah, I made you suffer through it.
I didn't suffer through it. It was a great movie.
Oh, please tell me why this is art, Trevor. So, yes.
Because Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves
that's all you
saved
care
the
about,
movie.
Huh?
Yeah.
He
I saw he
saved
was
the
at it,
movie.
and I was like, oh, yay.
Him and his powdered hair saved the movie. Multi-million-dollar budget. They just, dunked his head in a bunch of flour. That's how they did his hair dye. It was fantastic. Yeah. Quality.
Playing Jonathan Harker, I think he did a great job.
Okay, well, you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. We've got a bunch of names here from our friend here. We got Jacob, Jeremiah, Elijah, Ashton, Bunting, Collins, DuPont, Freeman, Kennedy, Lee, Merovingian, Onassis, Rockefeller, Russell, Van Doon. Peace be upon you all.
Is that the list we've been waiting on?
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so let me explain this horrible, horrible movie. So I should start off by saying Dracula is one of my favorite books of all time since I wrote The Familiar, which will be available February 3rd. Just so you all know.
That's called a plug.
Hint. That's called a plug.
Sorry.
It was a seamless plug. Anyway, so I like vampires. And so I really like the book Dracula. And in 1992, there was a movie that came out called Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is an infuriating title because Bram Stoker has nothing to do with that version of Dracula. So,
why not?
Let me give a brief synopsis of the plot, I guess. Dracula's about a vampire. Shocker. He basically kills a bunch of people and then they kill him. That's that's the elevator pitch. So, Trevor, start off. Let me get the actual poster up really quick. So, Trevor, start off by explaining to me what on this side of creation possesses you to think that movie is anything but a load of crap.
Sarcasm.
Oh, you're just being sarcastic? I was worried about your taste.
Yeah,
I was offended when you said that.
I agree with you. It was not a very good movie.
Was it not?
Like, Keanu Reeves was really the only one that actually, seemed to want to be there.
Everybody was just phoning it in.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Hopkins did a great job and Winona Ryder, but the rest of them were like, I'm just here to make some money.
I'm just here for the check.
And when I first started playing it, I'm like, oh, it's just going to be a cheap movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll sit through it. And I noticed the characters, actors, Gary Oldman as Dracula and Anthony Hopkins doing the voiceover and being Van Helsing. I'm like, okay, this should be a great movie. And yeah, you're right. It was terrible.
That's one of the bizarre things about it is, it should have been a very good movie. Like, it really, given the cast, it should have been way better than it was. But it was absolutely terrible. And it's like a really perverted high schooler made it, basically.
I would have watched it, but growing up, I guess you had watched it at some point, and you told me consistently how terrible it was. So I've just never had the desire to watch it.
He took your advice.
you had a positive influence in my life in that way.
I spared you 3 hours of your life.
Spared me that.
Yeah, you're not missing out on anything.
Well, I'm relieved, Trevor, because I was worried about you there for a minute. I'm like, you have no cinematic taste. But
yeah, I was wanting to pick on you about it, but I wasn't real sure how to pick on you about it.
Oh, I know. I was my blood pressure got up even hearing you say it, man. I was mad. No, it's just so it's very, the cuts are very, very hard to follow. So just for an example, at the beginning of the movie, you have this weird you have the captions that open up with explaining, who Dracula was historically, the guy that fought off the Turks. And amazing, in Transylvania, he's actually a very famous historical figure. He's like a hero,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like a villain at all in that country. Well, they depict that war a little bit, and you can instantly tell right away something's wrong because the armor, I don't know if I can pull it up or not, but the armor, it looks like muscles. Like they made it this weird sinuous muscle crap. Let me see if I can pull a picture up.
Oh, I thought that was just like his skin. It was just like when he transformed, it was.
No, it was like it was supposed to be his armor, and I'm like, why? It's like it looks plastic. Let's see if I can get a big picture of this. Yeah, here.
He looks more like a samurai than Dracula. You're a great producer.
Is that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Yeah, so this is his armor. It looks like a bunch of muscles. It looks plastic. You're like, oh yeah, that'd protect you from a scimitar. Good luck with that.
Because screw history.
Yeah, screw history.
Because
Exactly.
There's no cool armor in history. There's
No.
no way you could. No.
You sit there looking at you, go, that ain't Byzantine at all. So, anyway, so the armor is just absolutely ridiculous in this film. So he comes up in this like terrible muscle armor, and he goes off to war. Of course, Mina Harker's his girlfriend because she's got to be reincarnated because this movie's ridiculous. And he wins the battle. Of course, the way they do the battle is just stupid. It's like basically little paper two-dimensional figures in the Wilhelm scream. And it's just absurd. And so you go through the
That's Hollywood can do.
Yeah, as Hollywood
Wait,
does. Huh?
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, it was just me. My internet cut out for just a second.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you.
I thought the live stream shut off, but it was just my internet.
Yeah, so basically they ran out of budget and decided to go stylistic with it. And so you go through this really cheap battle. And then by the end of it, you've got Dracula coming into this chapel, and his girlfriend has thrown himself off the cliff because the Turks like shot an arrow into her tower and said, your boyfriend's dead. She just believed him. So she threw herself off the tower, as one does.
It was like a Romeo and Juliet type thing. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
So
She, no grieving period, no nothing. I'm just gonna, oh, he's dead. I'm gonna just die too.
They have no reason to lie.
Yeah. Why would the Turks lie? I mean, it's like, boy, I can't believe I would believe the letter, but it's in Arabic, so maybe I should wait. But nope, she just kills herself. So anyway, so that happens, and then he gets in there, and they've got her body sprawled out in front of the podium for some reason. They didn't put her in a coffin or nothing. She's just there. And Dracula's all crying. And Anthony Hopkins, who's apparently been reincarnated too, is like, well, your girlfriend's going to hell. She killed herself. And so, as one does in the middle of a funeral service. So, and Dracula's like, screw that. I renounce God. And so he stabs this cross. And then the cross just starts like spouting blood. And the angels start crying, and Anthony Hopkins like freaks out, and Dracula grabs a sacrament goblet and like fills it up with the blood and drinks it. And you're like, but why though? Because I'm thinking, okay, if I renounce God and then I stab a cross and it starts bleeding, if I drink that blood, I'm probably going to get leprosy. I mean, the idea that I would become a vampire would not be the first thing that comes to my mind.
This is immortality.
Yeah, I'm going to drink this blood and live forever. I don't know why I think that, but apparently I do. And so he drinks the blood and he screams because it hurts, because of course it would. And, that's your first 30 seconds of the movie, and you're like, what is happening? So...
Yeah. I was totally lost. I was like, I don't understand any of this.
It's not you not understanding. It's called being incoherent. That ain't your fault. That's just stupidity. But I'm sorry. It's art. It's art, guys. So,
yeah,
so
I
that
thought
happened.
at first it was like a type of like ritual.
Somehow I don't remember that in the book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not a bit of that's in the book. Not a
Must
bit.
have missed that in the book.
Well, see, they were going for a ritual, but these are a bunch of vile materialists, so they really don't know what a ritual looks like unless it's that Bohemian Grove owl. So, If it ain't foul care, they're not familiar with it. So
Valcor.
whatever it's called. Anyway, so that's their first thing, and then the Jonathan Harker sequence happens, and that's okay. Like, it's okay. Keanu Reeves does good, but Gary Oldman is all over the freaking place.
Yeah, from what I took, Gary Oldman, just me personally, I don't think he wanted to do that part.
I wouldn't either. He's probably in a bad mood because they had him in a chair doing makeup for 6 hours, and he looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was probably super excited to get to play Dracula, and then he read the script.
Yeah. It was like, yeah.
That's what it seemed like.
Well, of course I'm going to play Dracula. You really go, oh, I already signed the contract. Crap.
It makes me wonder where did they get the funding for all that?
CIA, because they couldn't just put out a decent version of this film because good Christian virtues that they'd sooner set themselves on fire than admit those crosses work on those vampires.
So it's a bad movie because it was made by commies.
Yeah, well, that's generally the problem. 99.9% of the time, if it's a bad movie, there's a communist somewhere because they can't do good films. So, Dear Leader always ends up saving them. But anyway, so you have that sequence, and it's okay, but Gary Oldman is very all over the place. And it's just an awkward performance. And then they have this shadow effect in there that's supposed to be scary, but it looks ridiculous, So at one point, Keanu Reeves is like, "Hey, this is Mina. This is my girlfriend. We're getting married." And for some reason, the shadow starts strangling him out of something like a Looney Tune, and you're supposed to be afraid of that, but I'm like, that just looks ridiculous. So. So that happens. And so the movie goes on. Jonathan Harker escapes and all that. And it follows the book kind of on that score. But then you get to the Lucy and Mina stuff. And the Lucy and Mina stuff, that's the part that actually makes me mad, is the way those two characters are depicted. Because they're really good, virtuous characters in the book.
And they weren't virtuous at all.
No, they were horrible in that movie, and it's so upsetting. So, you've got them looking at the Karma Sutra in the first scene.
What?
Yeah. In Britain in the 1800s, they just had a Karma Sutra there.
What's the Karma Sutra?
It's a book of a bunch of sex positions.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So they had that. And they're tee-heeing a couple of middle schoolers over this Karma Sutra book. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be super accurate. So,
That's what Bram Stoker envisioned.
yeah. I mean, it was obviously what it was implied. It was the subtext, Greg.
That was the story he wanted to tell.
Yeah.
We all know.
So what you're saying is I need to go back and read the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
The better story.
Dude, the book is incredible. I love the book to death. It's amazing. But this movie is trash. And so, anyway, these women in Victoria, England are looking at the Karma Sutra, tee-heeing like middle schoolers. And, after we go through that, we get introduced to Quincy and Arthur and Seward and...
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. I really like what's his name? Carrie Elwes.
Yeah, as Arthur.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's in it. The guy from
Princess
Nice.
Bride. Yeah,
Princess Bride. I was like,
And
he's a great actor.
he's good. He does his job.
He should save the movie. He did.
Nobody could have saved this film. Nobody. Not even Anthony Hopkins could have saved this film. He tried, but there was nothing he could do. So,
he tried.
Anyway, so you go through this weird, Lucy being a tart through this party. And then the girls are also in a garden later as the ship, the Demeter's coming up to Britain. And so the storm happens so the ship can approach. and
You know what I
it
think?
starts raining.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I think we should get all these actors back together and sit them down and be like, "Hey,
Apologize.
Would you guys be interested in redoing this entire movie the right way?"
That's something that's amazing. Is there has not been one stinking depiction of Dracula that has been any way, shape, or form accurate to the books. Out of
Really?
all of them, I mean, I haven't seen all of the Christopher Lee ones, but I know Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee like have a fight in a ship in one of them, and I'm like, that didn't happen at all. So, like, I don't think there's actually been a Dracula movie done right, ever. In like 100 years, it's been remade and remade 1,000 times. No, I don't think one of because it's the pro-Christian message. These people would sooner die than like do anything like pro-Christian, and so they dance around it like 7 ways to Sunday. And it's kind of pathetic because it makes them look like scared, you know.
So we need to talk to Angel Studios and see if they'll redo it.
Oh, they won't do it because you know there's blood. So. I mean, people die on purpose. So.
They did.
I'm being mean. I don't know anything about it.
They decapitate a corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they decapitated the corpse. And, you know, there's going to be somebody who's like, this is witchcraft. I'm like, yeah, that's the bad guys. But anyway. Of course, there's also wafers and crucifixes. I mean, you know, there's theological disagreements. But anyhow.
Yeah.
So anyway... Moving on. So you have the weird garden scene with Lucy and Mina. And they kiss. I don't know why.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
It was like, we're laughing, we're teehing, we're innocent, we're virtuous, we're lesbians. And it never comes up again. Nobody talks about it. No awkward morning after the fact going, why did we do that? Nothing. Just kiss.
Well, they wanted Katy Perry to be part of it.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I guess we're being risque. We're Hollywood. We're scandalous, I guess.
I kissed the girl and I liked it.
I suppose. I was just confused. I was like, but why though? And we never got an explanation on that.
I'm sure it's very important to the plot.
Oh yeah, it was very essential. It was vital to understand the subtext and the themes of the character. They have to kiss. It's the only way. Anyway, so
this is the way.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, this is the way. So Dracula gets up on shore, and this was another thing. In the book, Lucy just sleepwalks, and she gets out of the house one night, and Dracula finds her and bites her, and that's how he gets access to the home. It's pretty straightforward in that regard. But in the movie, Dracula
Seduces her.
I guess she was asleep, so it must have not been hard. Anyway, he's a werewolf, and Mina comes across him copulating with her as a werewolf.
What?
Yeah.
But why? Why?
Weird.
That didn't happen in the book at all. So, again, but I think I think the fact that the characters are like so like virtuous and good in the book, it's like it made these people mad, and it's like this whole movie is just like a humiliation ritual against those original characters. And I think there's also this idea that it's like, oh well, you know, they have these journal entries, but here's the real story, and they didn't want to tell you about the time Lucy Westerner was raped by a werewolf. We're not going to talk about that, you know. They wouldn't put that in the journal entry, but we're going to give you the real scoop. This is art. So anyway,
goes back to your comment about high school movie.
Yeah, well, it's like American Pie. It's like, oh no, we're professional actors. Get naked. So
Yep.
Anyway, so that goes on, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else like. Mina's the other thing. I think Mina's probably the most insulted character of all, because she ends up having an affair with Dracula and taking absinthe. And I'm like, Mina Harker would not take absinthe. Shut up, movie. So, yeah, but apparently, and I guess the absinthe awakened her realization that she was this guy's dead lover. And she suddenly remembered that she was alive 300 years ago and is just like in love with him now because she was in love with him so long ago. And I'm like, no, that's the absinthe. That's why he had you take the absinthe.
Well, I thought that at some point he kind of like hypnotized her
No.
and tricked her.
I mean, the absinthe tricked her, but the movie's telling you it's real. So, anyway, so she drinks absinthe, and apparently the absinthe was like her big divine revelation. And so, you know, poor Jonathan, who gets back from being attacked by the vampire women, you know.
Oh yeah, he does go to. Why does he go see Dracula again?
Because
Is he some sort of journalist?
Well, in the book and in the movie, he's basically a real estate guy, solicitor.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah.
he's buying Dracula's houses, and Dracula's doing all these transactions from afar. So somebody had to go down there and sign paperwork, and it was like, yeah, they had to do like
Yeah.
notary type stuff. So
Yeah, that's right. And then
yeah.
Dracula was jealous of Jonathan Harker, so he trapped him there and went to take her away from Jonathan Harker.
Right, and that's not what happened at all. Like, he trapped, basically in the book, Jonathan's food for the women after he's done signing all the paperwork is what's supposed to happen. So, you know, Jonathan, like, escapes, but the idea is he writes all these letters, and Dracula basically has him write all these letters to kind of cover his tracks because Jonathan's supposed to go disappear on his way back to England. So he has him write all these letters ahead of time so he can post them periodically to make it look like Jonathan Harker left when he didn't. And so after all that's done, then Harker is supposed to be fed to the women. And this is
They do a scene like that, don't they?
Yeah, but it's so terrible because it's like, oh, vampire women. Well, I mean, obviously they have to get naked, but the actual book scene is like way scarier because what it is he goes into this abandoned part of the castle and he, you know, sleeps on the couch or whatever, and he's basically has to pretend to be asleep while all this crazy crap happens behind him. So, you know, the women show up and he can hear them talking about him and, you know, they lean in. He thinks, in the book, they're going to kiss him. Of course, what they're talking about is biting, but he doesn't realize that yet. And then Dracula tells them to knock it off before they can actually do anything, and then they feed the kid. Then he feeds the kid to him, and Jonathan has to listen to all that crap and still pretend to be asleep. It's like
so that's in the book.
Yeah, that's in the book. That's freaking terrifying. At least it was to me. And in the movie, it's like sex, vampire women, sex, and that's, you know, that's it. Yeah. And then, like, they feed the kid, and then Keanu Reeves screams when they do the feed the kid thing, and then it's, you know, fade to black. It was just lame. It was like, did you really think that scene was going to be better than what was in the book? Because the book was, like, terrifying. Because it's all about, you know, that tension. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like that waiting for something to happen, and it's just subtle. It's just done right. Movie's terrible. But we're moving around. So, anyway, Mina was like actually in love with Dracula. That's kind of the main problem with the movie as a whole, because Dracula is repulsive in the book. He's not like a seductive character. Like, he's an old school monster, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, like, the worst part of it is like the vampire baptism scene where she drinks from his chest or whatever. Like, in the book, again, it's actually terrifying because Renfield actually becomes like a good guy by the end, and because he realizes Mina's being fed on by Dracula. And
Which one was Renfield?
Renfield's the guy that was eating the bugs. You remember him in the movie? Like, he was eating bugs and he wanted a cat, and he was the crazy
one?
Yeah, he was the crazy one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in the book, it kind of plays the same way, except by the end, Renfield tries to save Mina because he likes Mina. And, you know, he fights Dracula, and Dracula kills him because Renfield turns on him, right? Again, the idea being Mina is such a good person, she's bringing out the best in everybody, right? Which is why all these...
not portrayed in the movie.
No, not at all. Because, like, yeah, the idea, it's just... In the book, the idea is this person is so good that these other men who really don't know her rally around her to save her because she's so virtuous, you know? And it's like they failed to save Lucy, who was also a good person. And by golly, they are not going to fail to save this second person. They're going to give their lives for this other woman, you know, to basically like redeem themselves from losing the first girl, Lucy. And also because she's just good. She's good enough to inspire them. She is an inspiring figure, you know. In the movie, she's a slut. They're all sluts. Everyone's a slut. So It's just infuriating. Like, it's so... I cannot describe how mad that makes me. Anyway.
Angry,
yeah.
Makes me want to reread the book.
Oh, the book's amazing. Yeah. I reread it. I reread it this week, and I'm like, good night. This is so good. But anyway. What else? So, yeah, she's... In the movie, she does it out of love. And in the book, it's obviously more scary because Renfield, before he dies, basically rats Dracula out and says he's visiting Mina. So the guys all double back and burst into the room to find, like, Dracula had, like, grabbed Mina's, like, hands and, you know, was, like, forcing her to drink from him. And it's, like, this horrible thing. And that's the other thing that we taught in storytelling, you know, you have to have juxtaposition. Because the idea is you're listening to these people that are so virtuous and are good, and then from another character's point of view, you hear them screaming and shrieking, and it's very heartbreaking because you're very invested in these characters because you hear their voice. You know what I mean? And so, but it doesn't work if they're horrible people. Then it's Sunny in Philadelphia syndrome, where you're like, well, I don't really care. Because you're a bad person, and why would I care if Dracula does bad things to you? You kind of deserve it. You have no investment in the characters if the characters are garbage people. It only works if you want to root for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's next? What's the other thing? One of the best things in the book that I think makes it kind of worth reading by itself is Mina, they don't know if she's going to turn into a vampire or not because she didn't die, but she drank the blood, so she's poisoned. And so they don't know if the blood's going to kill her. They don't know what's going to happen. And so before they go to chase after Dracula, they basically all swear to kill her if she turns, and then they preemptively read the death rite to her. And it's actually a very sad scene. But it's really good, you know? And you have those little heartfelt moments that the book is like, screw that! Sex! It just makes you angry. Yeah, the movie's like, screw that, sex, but the book actually has like these meaningful moments where you get super invested in the characters. And in the end, you know, the book ends with Quincy dying, but being very happy because Mina's scar with the wafer is gone. And that's, you know, like he's like, this is worth dying for, and then he dies. So it's, you know, in that book, Quincy's like the MVP, man. He's like the coolest character. And I think it's kind of cool that Bram Stoker made the Texan the coolest character. I'll just say that. But anyway. So
all right, well guys, my phone is about to die, so I gotta take off.
All right, man. Well, adios. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Thank you for being here.
See you guys later.
See you, man. Peace. Bye. And let's see. I'm trying to think of how to end this thing.
Well, I was going to ask you if you were like Rotten Tomatoes or something like that, would you give it any stars at all?
Is there something for negative stars?
Yeah, you could do negative stars if you want.
Yeah. No, it's just... It makes me mad because you know what could be and they don't even get in the ballpark.
Yeah.
And so I guess I should wrap it up. By the end of it, yeah, in the end, Dracula dies like a villain, but, you know, he's still like, the other thing is the monsters actually experience peace after they die. So it's like the idea is that the killing is a mercy because they're in torment,
yeah,
which is also an important component of the vampire. because it's I mean, I guess the theme would be, yeah, monsters, evil, being transformed into something you're not, and that's where the horror element comes from, you know.
Yeah.
So without that, you don't really have the book, but they just, you know, like, I'm not, from a religious sentiment standpoint, I'm not one of those guys that thinks it's like always bad to have sex scenes and stuff in movies or whatever, but the stuff in that 92 thing serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. And it's really just there to like character assassinate Mina and Lucy. That's what kind of makes me mad. They did it just to insult those characters. Like, it's actually an incredibly vindictive movie.
Well, it's just they wanted to make it Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So, terrible film. Wouldn't recommend it, but I would recommend the book. I cannot recommend the book enough. I love the book to death. I would highly recommend
to read it.
Yeah. You should definitely
Or listen to
read
it
the
on
book.
audiobook if they have one.
Yeah, they got it. They got it on Audible. I listened to it this week, so.
Sweet.
Wonderful book. Okay. That's my rant on Dracula. Well, do you have any thoughts on it besides just...
No, I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't even recommend watching. Like, it was a waste of time.
I agree, sir. I think it was a horrible waste of time. It's kind of one of those you'd be better off watching Ice Melt type of movies.
Or The Grass Grow.
Or The Grass Grow. That's a good one.
Or someone's cat live stream.
Someone's cat live stream.
Those are actually out there.
Those are a thing, huh?
People live stream their cats lounging around the house. Yes.
And here
It's
we
a
are
thing.
with 178 subscribers, and somebody's made $1 million live streaming their cat. What are we doing?
Well, I
with
don't know
live
if they
streaming?
make any money. They go to work and live stream their cat
For
hanging
the love
out.
of the game.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, we're done with this segment. Yeah, if you don't have anything else to say.
I don't.
I don't either. Don't watch Dracula 1992. It's not Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, and it is pervy. Do not waste your time. So, with all that being said, if you're on the live stream, stay with us. If you're watching this after... Yeah, we got one more segment left, so if you're on the live stream, stay with us. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.